Well, here goes day one on the four-wheel drive swapped Toyota Tacoma. This is a pre-runner, so it's basically a four-wheel drive truck, except they didn't put a transfer case or a front differential or drive lines or anything on that. So basically what we got to do is bolt in a differential. It's already got all the mounts on the frame, and then we got to pull the transmission. We got to do a little bit of modifying on the transmission to be able to fit the transfer case, and then obviously new drive lines and four-wheel drive hubs up front and a few other little things, a little bit of wiring, and we'll be four-wheel drive. Well, here's everything we need to swap the four-wheel drive. So you got to be pretty careful when you're selecting your transfer cases. These are pretty specific on four-cylinder versus V6 and automatic versus manual, I come to find out. So it's got to be an automatic four-cylinder for my specific truck. We got the right transfer case. As far as I know, that should bolt up no problem. Front differential, you got to make sure it matches your rear. This one is 430. I actually had a hard time finding a 430 diff, but we got a good one. Seems really tight, really smooth, and it's actually super clean. So other than that, we got to swap hubs over. Obviously, we don't have any splines in these hubs on the factory ones because there's no CV axles. I figured we're just going to go brand new hubs. While we're in there, we're going to do bearings. We got the nuts, we got all the seals for the front end here. And then I didn't have the transmission mount right here on the transfer case when I bought it. So got an OEM mount. All these bolts here are for the transfer case to bolt on. And then it was missing some of these ones here for the adapter. So we got all those. And then you're going to need the four-wheel drive shifter, the vacuum switching solenoids if you're keeping your automatic hubs, which I am. I didn't want to go manual because that's way more expensive to get the manual set up. So I figured I'll just wire these up and we'll have automatic hubs. And then front driveline we're going to need. As far as rear driveline goes, I think I'm just going to drop that one off and have that one shortened. So really this swap should be pretty easy. There's only one really hard part is we got to pull the transmission all the way out. You could probably do this in the truck, but I'm going to pull it out and do it right because we have to cut the output shaft. The only difference between the output shaft on a two-wheel drive versus a four-wheel drive is the four-wheel drive is shorter. So all we have to do is cut that and then drill a little hole in the end of that shaft so that we get oil into a bearing in the transfer case. So that is really the only hard part. All the other stuff is bolt in and it should go pretty easy.